Criticism. It's something everyone faces, especially leaders. But did you know that 60% of employees say they never get any constructive feedback at all? Shocking, right? That means many leaders are missing out on one of the best opportunities to grow and improve. And here's something even more surprising. A study found that leaders who accept feedback and use it effectively are 30% more likely to be viewed as successful by their teams. So, why is criticism so hard to handle? It's often uncomfortable, sometimes personal, and can feel like a blow to your confidence. But what if we told you that criticism doesn't have to be something to dread? In fact, it can be one of your most powerful tools for success. The way you handle criticism can make or break your leadership. In this video, we'll dive into the surprising benefits of embracing feedback, share proven strategies that top leaders use, and show you how to turn every piece of criticism into an opportunity. Ready to learn how to handle criticism like a true leader? Let's jump in. Chapter 1. Turning feedback into fuel. The power of reframing criticism. One of the most effective ways to handle criticism is by reframing it. Instead of viewing criticism as a personal attack, try to see it as a valuable opportunity for growth. The key is to shift your mindset. This isn't always easy, but it's necessary for any true leader. According to research by Carol Dweck, author of Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, leaders with a growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges, learn from criticism, and ultimately succeed. When you reframe criticism, you stop seeing it as something negative and start seeing it as data. For example, if someone points out that your report was unclear, don't take it personally. Instead, look at the feedback and ask yourself, how can I make this clearer next time? This simple mental shift can turn criticism into a roadmap for improvement. This approach isn't just motivational fluff, it's backed by science. A study by the University of California found that people who focus on learning and growth when receiving feedback are more likely to improve their performance than those who focus on avoiding failure. By seeing feedback as a tool for learning, you allow yourself to grow stronger as a leader. You take control of the narrative instead of letting the criticism control you. Chapter 2. The Silent Strength. How true leaders respond, not react. A true leader doesn't react impulsively to criticism, they respond thoughtfully. It's tempting to become defensive or even angry when faced with criticism, but reacting from a place of emotion can cloud your judgment and damage your credibility. Great leaders know how to take a step back and process the feedback before saying anything. In Emotional Intelligence 2.0, Travis Bradberry explains that emotional intelligence is crucial for leadership. He argues that leaders who have high emotional intelligence are better at managing their emotions and thinking clearly, even when they receive negative feedback. Leaders with emotional intelligence know that a quick reaction could escalate the situation, whereas a calm and thoughtful response can turn a challenging conversation into a productive one. A well-timed pause can make all the difference. Take a deep breath and assess the situation. Ask yourself questions like, is this criticism valid? Or, how can I use this feedback to improve? By pausing before responding, you show maturity and thoughtfulness, key traits of effective leadership. Consider this. In a study by the Harvard Business Review, 82% of people reported that they felt more respected when their leader listened to them first, rather than immediately responding with their own opinion. This shows that taking a moment to process feedback and listen thoughtfully can have a positive impact on your relationships with your team. Remember, responding thoughtfully not only helps you grow, but it also sets the tone for your team. When your team sees you handle criticism with poise, they'll be more likely to follow your example. Chapter 3. Ego Detox. Letting go of personal attachments to criticism. One of the hardest things for leaders to do is to detach their ego from the criticism they receive. It's natural to feel protective of your work, especially when you've put in a lot of effort. However, letting your ego take over can cloud your judgment and prevent you from learning from feedback. The key here is understanding the difference between criticism of your work and criticism of you as a person. In Dare to Lead, Brené Brown emphasizes the importance of separating your identity from your work. She writes, if we can learn to separate our self-worth from our work, then we can receive feedback without it feeling like an attack on our identity. Leaders who succeed are able to accept criticism without internalizing it. They understand that feedback is not about them as individuals, but about how they can improve as professionals. Letting go of the ego allows you to see criticism for what it really is, an opportunity to grow. This is more than just good advice, it's a necessity for leadership. According to a study by the Center for Creative Leadership, leaders who take feedback personally are less likely to seek out feedback in the future, which can stunt their development. On the other hand, leaders who embrace feedback and detach their ego are more likely to keep improving. An easy way to practice this is by adopting a growth mindset. Every time you receive feedback, remind yourself that it's not a reflection of your worth as a person but a tool for growth. Over time, this shift in thinking will help you become more resilient and adaptable in the face of criticism. Chapter 4. Constructive criticism versus destructive feedback. Recognizing the difference: not all criticism is created equal. There is a world of difference between constructive criticism and destructive feedback. A key skill for any leader is knowing how to spot the difference. Constructive criticism is specific, actionable, and aimed at improvement. Destructive feedback, on the other hand, is vague, unhelpful, and often rooted in negativity. According to a study by the Gallup organization, 67% of employees reported that they want more constructive feedback in the workplace, not just praise. This shows that people are generally open to feedback, but it needs to be helpful and specific. Constructive criticism offers a clear path for improvement, while destructive feedback can leave you feeling confused and demotivated. The key to handling criticism effectively is first recognizing whether it's constructive or destructive. Constructive feedback often includes examples of what you could do differently, and it's focused on your behavior or actions, not your personality. For example, a manager might say, "Your presentation was clear, but it would be even more impactful if you added more data to back up your points." This type of feedback gives you a clear area to work on. In contrast, destructive feedback might sound like, "You're terrible at presentations." This type of feedback doesn't offer any actionable advice and can feel more like an attack. As a leader, it's essential to focus on the constructive feedback and discard the destructive. It's not always easy, but it's crucial for your growth and the success of your team. Chapter 5. The 3P strategy. Protect, process, and pivot. One effective strategy to handle criticism is the 3P approach: protect, process, and pivot. The first step is to protect your mindset. Criticism can be tough, but it's important not to let it derail you. By protecting your mental space, you prevent the negativity from overwhelming you. Take a moment to breathe, clear your head, and prepare yourself to process the feedback objectively. The second step is to process the feedback. Instead of reacting immediately, take time to analyze what was said. Ask yourself, is this criticism valid? Is there something I can learn from this? By processing feedback, you give yourself the opportunity to learn and grow. A study by the Harvard Business Review showed that leaders who reflect on feedback before responding are more likely to improve their performance. Finally, the third step is to pivot. After you've processed the feedback, think about how you can adjust your approach or behavior. Sometimes, criticism reveals areas for improvement that you hadn't considered before. By pivoting and making changes based on the feedback, you demonstrate adaptability and growth. This not only helps you as a leader but also sets a strong example for your team. The 3P strategy is simple but powerful. It allows you to handle criticism with composure, learn from it, and make the necessary changes. By following this strategy, you'll be able to turn criticism into a stepping stone for greater success. Chapter 6. Feedback loops. Creating a culture of transparent criticism. As a leader, one of the most impactful things you can do is create a culture of transparent criticism within your team. When feedback flows freely and openly, it fosters an environment where people feel safe to share ideas and make improvements. This kind of culture can drive innovation and enhance team performance. In Radical Candor, Kim Scott emphasizes the importance of caring personally and challenging directly when giving feedback. Leaders who create a culture of radical candor encourage team members to give and receive feedback with honesty and respect. This transparency fosters trust and makes it easier to handle criticism without taking it personally. Statistics show that companies with a feedback-rich culture perform better. According to a report by Gallup, teams that receive regular feedback are 14.9% more likely to be engaged in their work. Creating a transparent environment where feedback is encouraged not only boosts team morale but also drives higher performance. As a leader, you can set the tone by being open to feedback yourself. When you embrace feedback and demonstrate that it's a tool for growth, your team will feel more comfortable doing the same. Encourage your team to share feedback with you regularly, and make sure they know it's safe to express their thoughts without fear of judgment. Furthermore, creating feedback loops doesn't mean just receiving criticism, it means actively seeking it. Ask for regular feedback from your team on your leadership style and decision-making. This not only helps you grow, but it also shows your team that their opinions matter. When feedback is transparent, it becomes a natural part of your team's development process. You can use it to make adjustments, solve problems, and build stronger relationships within your team. This culture of continuous feedback helps everyone grow and ensures that criticism is seen as an opportunity for improvement rather than a negative experience. Handling criticism is an essential skill for any leader. By reframing feedback, responding thoughtfully, and detaching your ego, you'll be able to turn criticism into a powerful tool for growth. Leadership is a journey, and criticism is just one of the stepping stones on that path. When you master these strategies, you'll not only handle criticism like a true leader, you'll thrive because of it. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to get more content on leadership strategies that will help you grow and succeed.